Oh my god, that's corn. Well, you're probably wondering why I'm in survival Minecraft for a snapshot video. There has been a significant change with beds in this snapshot that maybe only I and several people can relate to. And I'll explain in a moment what it is. So I am in full netherite gear, prop 4, feather falling 4. Down here is a chunk hole. So it's all been dug out, the bedrock is gone. And what I'm gonna do is fall right down the chunk hole. And you might think I'm gonna die from the void. However, notice how there is a line of beds that is gonna break my fall. And this was the genius that surrounded this trap that occurred in the very latest season of Minecraft, and it was built by JoJo Solos. You may have seen the short floating around. It's gone with absolute virality.
No, don't jump.
Now, the reason this trap works is because beds are block entities and they can break your fall. But because of this, if you fly up enough, they will disappear from rendering. Which is why in the short, you would have also noticed a line of chests as well. Because chests are also a block entity that don't render at a specific distance. So if you go to the surface and you look down, the beds are gone. This is no longer possible. So this is the same world, but now on the latest snapshot of 26.2, snapshot 3, you'll notice the beds are still there. Even though I'm really close to the surface of this world. Now, this is a very niche exploit. I will say this change is absolutely huge because not only does it increase performance, I'm probably gonna die from this actually. No! This change will also allow us to modify them through block modeling. So this is the block model for the bed. You can't really tell because the textures aren't there. But let's say you wanted to have a levitating bed, so you delete the feet. You can do the same thing for the other part of the bed. And if you wanted to add a little pillow like this, go back and apply it. It's probably gonna look really weird because I haven't tested it out. Oh! It's not really aligned to the pillow, but you get what I mean. So you can now block model your beds to anything you want. Now possible in this snapshot. Because I know a lot of people have been asking me, hey, did they just remove beds? That aside, we can now talk about the new Sulfur changes and the fact that they've basically just reskinned, in some capacity, the dripstone stuff. We now have Dripstone Cave 2.0, if you will. Oh, this is a crazy world. What? Okay, so there's an ancient city, a mine shaft, a sulfur cave, a trial chamber covered with skulk. Seed and coordinates right here if you want. It's a pretty good seed, but we're here for this. So the main addition in this update is sulfur spikes. Not this small one. Got large ones, which are very similar in behavior to dripstone. Very similar, with some minor differences. This now makes sulfur a renewable source, which also means potent sulfur is also renewable. Now, I have a bit of a gripe with how potent sulfur works. So these bubbles you're seeing, it's just particles. They're not blocks. We already know that. Apparently, potent sulfur is a freaking block entity. It stores its components, its coordinates, and its ID. Now, this probably doesn't mean much to you, but if you try to push it with a piston, you will find that you cannot. But on bedrock, you can, because that's how bedrock works. I hate this game, man. You can't put potent sulfur inside sulfur cubes. That's how I figured it out. So in and amongst the inability to detect this block because of observers, being that this is not a block, it becomes really challenging to do anything with this. All right, so what can you do with this pointed sulfur? Well, you can't really do anything with it right now. It can kill you. You don't want it to like drop on your head. So let's set block a sulfur block above me, and just underneath it, we'll put a spike, and then we will break the block above it. I've been skewered. So it's super deadly. Once again, it's very similar to dripstone. However, you'll notice that even with lava above it, and I've been standing here for quite a while, this lava cauldron is not filling up. And it's not even dripping lava from it. Normally it would. Hopefully they change this behavior soon. Actually, no, don't. That's really dangerous and toxic and bad. However, you'll notice this is a 2 thickness sulfur spike. Normally, dripstone requires a water source above it for it to grow. Sometimes they'll do this thing as well, but it requires water. It can only grow if there's water above it. Now, you'll notice while all this time, with the tick speed up, this thing has been growing in the background without any water source above it. And so it seems like these sulfur spikes grow regardless of what is near it. So we can demonstrate this again by breaking all of that. It's gonna start growing once again. So it seems like the only purpose right now for them is to like kill players if you want to break it, and also make sulfur renewable. A couple other things to note, Cinnabar and a few of the other similar blocks have had their textures updated. They look a lot more saturated now based on community feedback. I don't really mind. I just want to know what the deal is with the cave spider. Are we gonna get a bogged version for them too now? That'd be really funny. However, a very curious thing has been added in this set of patch notes. You cannot put sulfur cubes inside boats. I don't know what this is all about. Should I pay attention to this? Is it just because block physics might be interrupted by being inside a boat? I really don't know. You can try to shift it inside a boat, it won't work. A lot of us may interpret this as a response to the transportation meta. We've all been using chest boats with a pig inside. The reason you use boats is because if you leash a pig to a sulfur cube on Bedrock Edition and you jump into the pig, and if you punch it, nothing happens. Your AI overrides the leashing mechanics. This does not happen on Java Edition. So if you jump on the pig right now and you hit the Sulfur cube, you're actually moving quite a long way. Excuse the chunk error. There's a lot of chunk errors in this snapshot right now. Look, there's nothing going on right now in this world. Look at this. But anyway, you can actually do this quite well and you can hit it. This is behaving a lot easier on Java over Bedrock Edition. I will say both allow you to break your fall. So if you're flying with the Sulfur cube, you won't actually die. However, as we all know, this whole thing doesn't really work anymore in survival mode. It's kind of annoying. I think over the last week, I haven't really discovered anything substantial with this. People have been trying breezes. People have been trying tridents. It's all well and good and cool, but it's really not that good compared to what we had before. So I will say the fact that you cannot put sulfur cubes inside boats could be a reflection of Mojang's response to all this, since we may not need to use chest boats anymore. You can still force it with a command like this, but if you hit it, nothing happens. And if you break the boat, the cube does not preserve that momentum. Just an interesting takeaway. We're only on snapshot 3, so there's a lot to come still. And as usual, leave your stuff on r/PhoenixSC if you really think that this entire mechanic is just pointless now.